Welcome and enter the center of my Super Mario adventure. My girl is trapped on the other side of town, so I'm moving in leaps and bounds. Folks around the way think I'm strange, but there's a villain to blame. Even my ma, she thinks that I'm crazy, but I got to rescue Daisy.
What can I say about Mario that hasn't already been said? Probably the most successful gaming mascot ever, and he's been around for over 40 years. Although not the first game he featured in, Super Mario Bros. Is usually the first game that comes to mind when people think about Mario. It was a launch title for the NES and completely redefined what a 2D platformer should be.
A few years later, Nintendo released the Game Boy, a portable system. Obviously, with it being Nintendo, a Mario game was going to come along with it. A lot of developers used to release a home console game alongside a Game Boy game, the Game Boy game usually being a lesser version of the home console game.
Let's have a quick look at the game WrestleMania 2000. Here's the N64 version. And here's the Game Boy version.
Well, you can hardly tell the difference.
Nintendo went a different way though. They released a whole new Mario adventure that was exclusive to the Game Boy, and that was Super Mario Land. I'm going to be using the Super Game Boy to play this, and if you don't know what that is, it was an add-on for the Super Nintendo which allows you to play Game Boy games through your TV.
Mainly because I have absolutely no idea how to record footage on this thing, so Super Mario Land, here we go.
Oh yeah, warp pipes, question mark blocks, mushrooms that make you grow big. This is classic Mario, alright. The A button jumps and the B button runs.
But I have to say the controls are just a bit off here.
Don't get me wrong, they're not bad, but compared to other Mario games where the controls are near perfect, you feel like with every jump you can place Mario exactly where you want him. But here, your movements are much more erratic. And don't even try to do a running jump off an edge. Attempting that is a total nightmare. In fact, the best advice I can give you is just use the B button as little as possible. Hey, a fire flower! Well, I know what this does. No, no, no! That's not what fire flowers do. The fireballs are supposed to bounce along the ground, not bounce off the floor once and hit the stratosphere.
So I think I'm just going to try and stop thinking about this as a Mario game and just treat it as its own thing.
At the end of each stage, there's a door at the top of the screen and a door at the bottom. Both will finish the level, but if you make it through the top door, you'll be sent to a bonus level where you can get power-ups or extra lives. There are 4 worlds to go through and 3 levels in each world. At the end of each world, you'll come up against a boss. The first one, I jumped over him before realising what was happening, and then he just exploded.
I'll take that.
So, World 2. I guess we've just been dropped off by that spaceship. There's these skeleton fish throughout this level that fly up from the bottom of the screen. There are also these platforms that move from side to side. They are the stuff of nightmares. Like I said earlier about the controls, I never fully got to grips with the jumping in this game. Trying to land precisely where you need to is not an easy task. It's difficult to explain, but again, and I swear this is the last time I'll mention this, but if you've played any other Mario game, you'll know what I mean. So we get to World 2-3 and whoa! We're in a one-man submarine! And it fires torpedoes!
This is awesome.
So you go on blasting enemies, destroying blocks, and then you get to the World 2 boss, a giant seahorse looking thing. You just have to keep firing at him while avoiding his attacks, and eventually, he goes boom. Nothing too crazy at the start of World 3, but then you get to these rolling log things. You need to jump on them to ride across the spikes, and as you can imagine, for me, there was a lot of... The next level is underground, and I was enjoying it until... Oh god, not again. Luckily, there's not nearly as many of them here. Okay, here we are at the start of World 3, Level 3, and... Another one of those moving platforms. It's okay, been playing long enough. I can do this. So I had much better time of it making it to the World 3 boss. I got there and he's throwing them logs. Then I realised I'm Big Mario, so I just decided to leap straight at him and press that magic button that blows him up. Great success. So, World 4. Pretty quickly you come across what I consider to be the worst enemy in the game. Moving platforms. You know what? I'm overthinking this. I can do it. Oh, forgot! I even landed it then! So when you make it past that, there's enemies everywhere. Bullet bills, piranha plants, and these ninja looking things that jump after you. Then you get to more of, you guessed it, moving platforms. After that ordeal, the next level mainly consists of avoiding these fireballs that rotate around blocks. They're not that difficult. Of course there's more of them, but this time they actually didn't cause me much trouble. Maybe I'm finally getting the hang of this jumping business. So, on to the final level. And we're in a plane! The controls are the same as the submarine level from earlier. Only difference is, instead of fish attacking you, it's planes and birds. So you get to the boss and it's a cloud throwing birds at you and oh, thought you could turn around? Oh no, you've got to be on the left because you can only fire towards the right. Yes, beat him! Is that it? No, he was just a warm-up to the final boss, and my lord, this guy doesn't mess around. He fires one big fireball at a time that splits into 3 and comes racing across the screen at you. To be honest, I thought I was done here. The first few attempts against him, he killed me in seconds. But then I decided not to bother watching him and trying to hit him. I just focused on avoiding his attacks and wildly firing. He's that big that some of those missiles have to hit him, right? And here's what happened. So, Daisy is saved, her and Mario fly off into the sunset as the credits start to roll.
So there we have it, Super Mario Land for the Game Boy, and I don't really know how to put this for a Game Boy game, especially a Game Boy launch title. Yeah, it's okay, but for a Mario game, it really doesn't stack up to the other ones. It's okay, but it's not one you'd pick it's not the first one you'd go for, definitely. However, Super Mario Land 2, on the other hand, that's a different story altogether, and we'll talk about it next time. See you later.